some artwork. So
Hello. Welcome to the Comic Book Fiend Cat. Oh, excuse me. Comic Book Fiend Club presents the FiendCast. I am Jay, aka the Ink Jedi. I'm not alone. I'm also with Jay.
What's happening, guys? It's J2K, also of the Comic Book FiendCast. Also on the Comic Book FiendCast.
Yo, it's your boy, the Boogeyman718 on Instagram, aka Boogie, aka your grandmother's favorite rapper. We up in here, son. Yeah.
What up? I'm Chad, aka the Canadian Geek, formerly of the East chapter, but now of the newly formed Canadian chapter of the Comic Book Fiend Club.
All right, welcome everybody tuning in, checking us out live. As you all know, summertime is real huge for cons and conventions. We just wanted to talk about and mention maybe some of our good con experiences and maybe our not so good con experiences that we've had throughout the years. So I'm going to shoot it over to Jay, have him start. Jay is international. He's from Scotland. So take it away, bro.
Obviously, our cons are completely different than your guys'. They're usually quite small. Our biggest one is only a few thousand folks, so to use that's nothing. The main thing is comics aren't as bigger here now. You get the guys going, obviously Marvel films and all that. They love all that, but they're not into the artists. So hell, I was at Edinburgh this year, and Fabian was there. Not a queue. I walked straight up to the guy, got my comic signed, no bother, and he even said that he was like, "Oh," I asked him, "How's it going? How are you finding it in Edinburgh?" It's a beautiful place, but I'm not used to just sitting here doing nothing all day. So it's good for us comic book fiends because we get to meet all these comic book artists and we can spend hours talking to them. But it's also not good for that side of it, the fact that these guys are getting brought over and they're probably got to go back and say, "Oh well, I was in Scotland and I signed 4 books." But it's good. There's a lot of cosplay and there's a lot of good actors go, but comically it's still lacking now, which is a bit annoying for what's called a Comic Con. But as the time's going on, we're seeing a lot more folk get into it. So fingers crossed over the next couple of years, we've got to see a lot more people get into comics, and that way we can get more writers. Because now we've got Brian Azzarello coming to Glasgow this year. So hopefully there'll be a lot of people going to get his stuff signed, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
Awesome. Have you noticed, like, maybe throughout the years, the guest list is getting bigger and bigger? And do you guys have a lot of like homegrown talent that go to these conventions? Maybe some not as well-known artists or writers or things like that, Jay?
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing is we have, for the Glasgow one, they have an area called the Comic Village, and that's mostly our homegrown guys. Like there's one that I like to give a shout out, which is Colts. A friend of mine, James, I got to know him because of his comic. He does it, and it's a brilliant comic. He's a Scottish writer with Scottish artists, and it's actually based in Edinburgh, so it's really good feel for us to read something that's based in our areas. But this is where the comic book guys get put. So last year, John McKerra was there, and he was put with a lot of folk, and he's just kind of amongst all these homegrown artists, and most people are walking by and no realising that this is a big guy in comics, you know what I mean? Like this dude selling like prints for 50 quid, and people are like, "I'm not paying 50 for that." And I'm like, "Are you kidding? That's 50 quid for a John McKerra print is awesome, man. Like that's a good price." But yeah, it's starting to get bigger, but as I said, it's still that's pushed away into the corner. I'd like to see them get put beside the celebrities and get put beside the Power Rangers and that. Like I like Power Rangers, but let's face it, like the comic guys are more interesting than the Blue Rangers. So
right, awesome, bro. How about you, Boogie? Any good experiences, bad experiences?
I've been going to cons for quite a bit. I mean, you always have your good points and then your bad points. One of my favorite cons to go to, honestly, is East Coast Comic Con. Mainly for the fact that don't get me wrong, it's commercialized now at this point, but it's not as bad as New York Comic Con or, even Baltimore Comic Con. Like these cons get swamped to the point like you can't even walk. It's like a giant sweat box, At a certain point in time, the artists start getting pissed off, so they get nasty, and it kind of it puts a damper on it. Because I mean, when you walk up to your artist that he's been an idol to you for so long, and he acts like a total dick because there's 300 people, 400 people lined up in front of him, and he's been pushing a fucking marker all day. It kind of like kills your hopes and dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Chad, what about you up in Canada?
I've been going my first con. I think I was 14. It's called Fan Expo Canada now. It used to be called the Canadian National Comic Book Exposition, which is a big mouthful. My first one, I got to meet David Finch before he was David Finch, Mark Silvestri, Mark Wade, Dwayne Turner, a bunch of Top Cow people. Because at that time, Witchblade and Darkness and those titles were really big. Then I started going to cons again in 2014. And yeah, the thing I don't like, and I understand it's a business, they're there to make money, but you get people, certain artists, I don't want to put anybody on blast, but just, certain artists who worked a lot on Batman, probably in the 70s, who started, the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. I won't say their name, but, 3 years ago, I paid $20. I got him to sign a Funko Pop and a book. Me and Jay Chala and the Friendly Face Viking saw him in Niagara Falls like 2 months ago, and he was charging $50 for one signature. So it's just like, I understand you need to make money, but at a certain point, it's just like, if I'm an artist, I'm trying to make money, I'm going to put a price on my work, or at least my signatures, that are, people will pay for it, but they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll get 2 or 3, not just like, well, I got to save up for a week, or, I got to take somebody out to get this one signature. But no, I've had a lot of good experience. Like a lot of the artists I find, as long as you get to them in the first half of the day or the first part of the con, and certain artists are really cool. Like Jason Fabek, as long as he doesn't have a long line waiting, he'll chat your ear off. He'll let you sit there and talk to him about his books and his experience and who he wants to work with. And Greg Capullo and even Scott Snyder, they'll sit there and talk with you if they have the time, if there's not a lot of people. So there's certain artists, I find the artists who didn't actually hit it big right off the hop, and not to say Jim Lee hit it big off the top, but, guys like him and Liefeld and those guys, they were very popular really early in their career, and like Todd McFarlane. And I find the guys like Capullo who were within comic circles or within the industry were well known. It took him a while to become Greg Capullo, and took Jason and David a while to become the artists they are now. So I find those guys are a little cooler to talk to because they had a little more of a struggle. They had to do a con circuit to get their name out there and then do the crappy books that nobody else wanted to do. So I find those kind of artists are really cool, and they'll sit there and chat with you, and they're appreciative of you coming to see them and giving them your books. And then you're appreciative of not minding spending the money to get the signatures, because it's a really cool experience for you as well. And, I wish more were like that.
Have you noticed maybe like a change in how many people attend like Fan Expo in Toronto?
Oh yeah, it's huge now. Fan Expo it's just like it's the New York Comic Con or the San Diego Comic Con of Canada. Basically, it's the biggest one, even though there's a few others in Vancouver and Calgary and stuff. It's way bigger, and it's way bigger for longer. And what I mean by that is, a couple years ago, if the con starts at 10, even on a Saturday, Sunday, it wouldn't be packed till like noon or 1. Now it's packed right off the hop. Everybody's lined up out on the streets. The people who don't have VIP passes, they're just clamoring, waiting to get the doors open. And, the North in Toronto, there's the North and South building. North building is all the celebrities, all the actors and music stars and cosplayers and all those people. The South building is nothing but comics. And it takes like literally 20 minutes to probably get from one building to the next, because it's just packed. It's like Boogie said, it's a sweat box. But it's good too, though, because those crowds, it's a coin flip, right? Because on one hand, we hate the big crowds and we hate all the people clamoring around, but those big crowds get the artists the money to make other artists like this year we got Matina, Lee Bermejo, we got Jock coming over from England. Those big crowds give Fan Expo to call and say, guys, we got the crowds. You're going to get your money that you want, so come on down. So it's like I said, it's a coin flip. You're complaining one way, but then you're loving it for the other way. So,
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, right. And it's crazy too. Like, a lot of people think that these artists make so much money And the reality of the situation is that they really don't make a lot of money off of the art that they do for books until their name really gets blown up. You know, like it's the same thing in the music industry. You know, they think like, you know, musicians make a lot of money off of album sales, but they're making a lot of money off of touring, doing shows. And that's why a lot of these artists, they go to these cons and they charge astronomical numbers to do sketches and shit. But I mean, hey man, you gotta feed your family.
And they got to pay for those booths too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of those booths, they're not cheap, dude. They're not cheap. Those tables at like New York Comic Con, we're talking about thousands, bro. You know,
Right.
I mean, some artists, I guess they make a little more bank than others because they've branched out and have done other things. They've gotten endorsements on certain shit.
Right. And some of the times for like the bigger artists like Snyder, Capullo, like they'll just say, here's the table, and you know, kind of sponsor them to be there themselves.
Right. Don't even pay a dime.
Right.
No.
Right. And those are the guys that piss me off. Go ahead, Chad.
No, I didn't want to cut you off. I just say, and maybe you guys can tell me, maybe Jay even over in Scotland can tell us. I found it's not a new thing, but it's a new thing in the terms of the scale you see it now, is fan packages. Like, you know, before you'd get like, you buy a ticket to a special panel where you'll hear them talk. And then it was, you'll see them talk at a panel and you'll get a print. And now it's like, oh, you get a panel, a print. You'll sign 4 books for you. They'll take a selfie. How much is it? It's $700. It's like, okay, you know. And like last year, I don't have it up because I'm taking things down to get ready to move. But like last year, I bought the Adam Kubert because he's one of my favorite all-time artists, probably my favorite all-time artist of Wolverine. And the package for him was $500. But you got an original, either 8x11 or a blank cover comic, which is for original art. That's not actually pretty bad when it's done proper. So, but that seems to be a big thing now, is fan packages, and you get books and whatever signed. So off of those, I think they're making a lot of money because you look at New York Comic Con, right. Baltimore, you got Frank Miller. His gold package at Baltimore is like $1,000. It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
huge,
mental.
I mean,
you get over here, like there was one of the cons. I mean, it's a charity con, so it's pretty cool. Most of the money goes to charity, but they went as far as dinner with the guests, so you got like all that stuff, like signed stuff and pictures with them all day, but you even got to sit down and have a meal with them at the end of the con, which I thought was pretty cool, like, but it would still be a bit weird, you know what I mean? You don't really want to pig out while you're sitting with your favourite artist or that. I don't know about you, man, but I like a fucking monster, man, so you know what I mean? But it's crazy to think that's how it's went. Like, you can pay for a package where you even take these guys out for a meal.
Right. I mean, speaking about New York Comic Con, I remember I used to be able to go the same day as the con, go right up to the booth and buy a ticket, and just walk right in. Now New York has become such a huge event. Now you're having to do all these like fan verifications. You have to get a special link, and then once tickets go on sale, you have to try to buy them as soon as you can, and then you're waiting maybe 30 minutes to an hour just to be able to buy these tickets. And what New York Comic Con did is they no longer sell they used to sell single day passes, 3-day passes, and 4-day passes. And I think the 4-day pass, I think at minimum was like $150. $150. Now they changed it. Now they only sell single day passes. And now, fans, you have to spend last year I had to spend almost $400 for my wife and myself just to go, on top of, paying to go meet Mark Hamill and things like that. I mean, some good memories of New York Comic Con for myself is when I met my wife. Jennifer and I met at New York Comic Con, and then the following year I actually proposed to her at New York Comic Con, right near the entrance. And then this year, when we got married, we had our reception, and then we woke up hungover and went right back to New York Comic Con to get to get our meet and greet with Mark Hamill. But like Chad was saying before, like these packages don't exist at New York Comic Con. You can't get them from their website anymore. Now it's usually you got to be the first one there. You have to run. You got to get a badge, or they usually give like a bracelet, and then you could get in line. One of the things I never liked about New York Comic Con, they always keep DC like all the way in the back. it's not even on the main floor. Marvel has a huge setup on their main floor where you're gonna see it no matter where you are. DC is like downstairs and all the way to the end of the Javits Center, so you can't even, you wouldn't even know if there's a signing or anything. And this is where they put people like Jim Lee just out in this annex. And then
Jim Lee deserves to be in the basement, so I'm okay with that one.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Right. Well, Marvel's one of their biggest sponsors.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say that, man. It's the city of Marvel, isn't it?
This is what happened when they did what was it, like 50 years of DC? No, was it 50 years of DC or something like that? And they still had them there. Like the whole con was basically surrounding this DC event, and they still had them annexed, and it was pretty cool. They had like all the bat suits throughout the years on display.
Nice.
I think my biggest complaint this year, for Comic-Con, last year, was you used to have like the comic floor, where you had your vendors, you had your Funko booths, you had, whatever else, and then connected to the Javits Center is like this annex building, which is huge, and that's where Artist Alley was. There was plenty of room to walk, to meet people, to talk, to get artwork. Now they just stuffed all these artists in this little room downstairs where there's no such thing as personal space in this area. I mean, just to like wait in line to be able to get maybe a print or a signature was dreadful. It was hot. It was annoying. I probably spent 15 minutes in Artist Alley this year just because I couldn't deal with it anymore. But I think at this point, New York Comic Con, they said that we're drawing more people in New York than people at San Diego, which is pretty amazing. But like I said, to me, they need to find a bigger accommodation than the Javits Center, especially with the construction going on. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience with them. I mean, I think the worst con experience I had was Wizard World in Philly. Basically, it's just a bunch of celebrities, and then I think I maybe saw 4 or 5 comic book vendors. That was it. Prices were insanely high. It was really hard to negotiate with a lot of the guys because they had to spend so much money, but they weren't seeing it return to them. So that was probably the worst experience I had. I mean, I still picked up some books, but not too many because, again, it was just it wasn't a lot of comics there, period. Yeah. That's it for me. That's my story.
Now that everybody watching, they're just going to be like, you know what? I'm never going to a con ever.
I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I think any advice that we'd all give is just prepare yourself. Bring water because water there is expensive.
Wear comfortable shoes.
Some food.
Yeah, wear sneakers. Don't wear flip flops. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, especially if your toes are ugly. Ain't nobody want to see that.
And it's gonna not sound weird, but if you know what kind of food you can eat and what kind of food makes you go to the bathroom, stay away from it. Because nothing worse than you're sitting in line for like a half hour, 40 minutes waiting for an artist, and all of a sudden your stomach starts rumbling and you got to bounce out of line. Most times you get your spot back, but it's still a pain in the butt to have to go to the bathroom, come all the way back, bring all your gear. So we should probably do a list one day of like cons,
do's and don'ts.
Yeah,
definitely. Me personally, I wear the adult diapers. I'll shit right there in line.
Yeah, that's your ranger training. That's your ranger training coming in.
There you go, man. Baby. Lead the way.
Well, speaking of conventions, I guess has anyone here ever found a hidden gem, let's say in maybe $1 bin or $2 bin or $3 bin, something that you weren't expecting to find? What did you guys do? What book was it? I'll shoot it over to Boogeyman right now. See what your take is.
Shit. I mean, they don't call me the back issue savage for nothing. That's what
me and they don't call you.
They don't call me at all. That's what me and our brother Dollar Bin Bandit got in common, man. I'm always searching dollar bins. I'm the type, like, if I'm driving down the road and I see a garage sale or flea market, I'm pulling over real quick. Hey, you got any comics? And it's paid off a couple of times, man. I actually bought a slabbed Wolverine 1 limited series, Gem Mint 10 at a garage sale for $60.
Wow.
Okay, the guy
There's only 4 of them on the census.
The guy had no idea what he had. Okay, and you know, some people will actually say that's a scumbag move, man. Like, you should have told him what he had. You know what? You can kiss my ass too.
Not the people that know you.
Hey man, listen, it's a cold
dog
world out there. Bundle up, baby. Bundle up. But I found all sorts of first appearances in dollar bins. I found that, matter of fact, just recently when me and Ink were in the new grand opening of Pandora's Box over in Hardiston, New Jersey, there was a first appearance of Prowler. Pretty decent condition. And he had it in there marked for $10, and I talked him down to $5.
Nice.
You know?
Nice.
Hey man, I'm all about them deals, bro.
Where have been some of the good places that like you've gone to find some of these books? I mean, like in state, out of state, garage sales, or flea markets.
You know, it's a toss up, dude. It's a toss up. Like, definitely the most congested areas, like, you know, where it's heavily populated. There's gonna obviously be more garage sales and flea markets and you know, little ring ding things like that. But I think I've had the best luck at like private little small shows, you know, because there's not tons of people digging in those boxes with you, finding shit before you, you know, and it really is, man. It's a toss up. I mean, I found shit in Maine. I went on a road trip. I was all the way up in Maine, where actually I've discovered that they had drive-through liquor stores. Real talk.
Yes.
Drive-through liquor stores. It was amazing. But anyway, driving through Maine, went to a garage sale, found some hidden gems over there. I bought a guy's whole collection for $100. He had 3 long boxes. You know, so
Thick.
you know, it's a toss up, man. You gotta have your eyes open, and you can't be afraid to just go somewhere new. That's really what it boils down to. And never overpay. Always try to get a deal.
I've seen it live. It's a real sight to behold when Boogie's handling with people at their booths. J2K, I'm gonna shoot it over to you, bro.
Well, obviously it's quite hard to get comics out here. I've explained this a few times, but when I was at con, well, a small Edinburgh con last year, I found a wee bin sitting there scrolling through, and I managed to find a 2000 AD very early issue, so early that it was actually had the original artwork as an advert for the Star Wars films before any Star Wars had came out, so it was all the old art on it. I mean, it was pretty tore up, but I managed to get it for like £2, which is nothing, and it's almost like a huge newspaper. That's how old this comic is. It's like a old newspaper, and it just had the Star Wars at the top, and it was like inside 3D glasses to read this newspaper article all about the new galaxy war called Star Wars, and it was just brilliant, man. I was so surprised I found it, and the guy didn't know what he had. It instantly. He was like, this is an old newspaper, I'll get it for £2. And I was like, yep, £2 done. Easy.
Sweet. Chad, shoot it over to you, bro.
You know, as far as cons go, I mean, I haven't found any diamonds in the rough at a con. I found books that are really nicely priced. Like, you'll go to some vendors and they got whatever book it is for like 100. You find it for like 25 or 20. You know, and it's a hot book. So I found a lot of those, but I think the best dollar bin ones I found is there's kind of a local store near me. A guy has a warehouse and he has like 500 or 600 long boxes, dollar bins. And I found a signed set of 4 by Alex Ross of the Marvels series he did back in the mid 90s there with the nice hard covers on them. There's like Silver Surfer, Spider-Man, the X-Men one with Angel on the cover. You know, I don't know if you remember them, but it was a 4-part series, and I found it, and they were all signed. And the only reason the guy let them go is because it was years ago in Toronto. He had a signing, and he never got certificates of authenticity done or whatever, so he couldn't prove that it was signed. But I grabbed every single one of them. I ran my finger over it really lightly. You could feel the bumps in the ink. I looked at all of them. They were all different. You know, the signatures. It wasn't a stamp. It wasn't like a thing. So it was authentic. So I was like, yeah, here you go. $4 all day, you know, to buy those. But yeah, I'm like Boogie. I'll go through if I see something. If you get that spider sense. You're like, wait a minute. There's a disturbance in the force. You know, you start looking around the dollar bins. And you gotta find them and go through them. Sometimes you find deals, but yeah, definitely don't overpay. You gotta haggle because, you know, they're trying to make a living, but some guys are just trying to gouge you. So always got to try to get those deals.
Most
Hell
definitely.
yeah.
Most definitely. I think myself, I found a couple of good books at like these garage sales. I found the Defenders #1. I found the first appearance of Gorgon. Probably paid like $6 for two of them. I usually get pretty lucky and find a bunch of like Silver Age Flash issues. And I just pick them up, you know, for the run or whatever. I think for me, like it's more about knowing what you're looking for. Like before I go anywhere, I say, okay, this is specifically what I'm looking for. But if I find something that piques my interest, let me, you know, keep that in the back of my mind and see if I want to get it or not. You know, like anytime I go to a con or anything like that, you know, I try to visualize what it is I really want to buy, as far as like, you know, overpriced books or anything like that. For example, there was a guy, I bought a Ninja Turtles #2 from him, and you know, he sold this movie for like $50, and I opened it and it was signed by both Eastman and Layard.
Oh
and
shit!
He didn't know, and I'm just like, oh man, this is awesome. You know what I mean? And, yeah, definitely. And it was like in the cup, not on the first page, but like the second page on the lower cover. So, and again, he probably just missed it. But yeah, definitely, it was a pretty awesome find, most definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely dope, man. And I'm still like I told Jedi the other day, I'm convinced that he's my good luck charm when we go to places digging in fucking boxes, boy. Because for the longest time, I was looking for that 181 homage, the Punks edition, and I kept seeing it everywhere. $60, $40. I saw it on eBay for $120. We're digging in a $5 bin. He's like, "Yo, Boogie, shows me the book." I'm like, yes.
But not too loud, so the booth owner would be like, "What's going on?"
Right. You had to keep that shit on the hush. Like, hey, everything in this box $5, right?
Well, I'm glad Jay's coming to Baltimore. Then he can be my good luck charm.
Most definitely, man. It's always fun to like dig through books, especially with people, because there'll be times I'll be like, "Yo, I don't know what book this is," and I'll show Boogie. I'm like, "Is this?" And he's like, "Yeah or nay." So I'm just like, "All right, cool." We find ourselves doing that a ton of times. I think where we were together, he found a Tag and Blink, the Dark Horse comic 1 and 2, and he was like, "Yo, you want this?" It was like $15. I'm like, "Absolutely," because you know, he's seen those things go for a little bit more, and it's you know, not the Marvel reprint, but just the original Dark Horse, and they were pretty good condition. So most definitely,
yeah, that was definitely a good find too.
You got to get those hands. You got to train those hands and those eyes when you're going through those dollar bins. You got not time to sit there and look at every cover. You got to know what the cover looks like in your mind, and just you got to speed through those things. Don't sit there and go one. Like, I've been able to do it when I'm in the zone. Sometimes I've been able to go through 2 boxes at once and just not even look at either one. Just look kind of down the middle, and just if those colors or the scheme or the title of the comic hits. Oh no, okay, and just. Gotta get quick, man. Gotta get quick.
That's talent, bro. I'm the one that'll stand there for hours, digging real slow. I'm like, wait, what is this? Jay, you know what this is? Nah. Yo, take it to the app, son. Start looking it up. Start looking it up.
It's true. And we went to this little. It must have been just like a small little room full of vendors, and we were there when they opened. We got tired. We ate lunch, and Big's like, "All right, let's go back." I'm like, "I'm super tired, but whatever. Let's go and spend some more money." That most definitely, digging's definitely a great time. Most definitely.
Hey, Jay, what's it like out there in Scotland when it comes to digging at flea markets and stuff?
For us, we don't have flea markets, but we have charity shops. Now they are brilliant. See the amount of times you go in there, and it's like you say, these guys don't know what they have. So sometimes you can go in and get some great finds. Sometimes you go in and you can look through hundreds of books and just be like, nah, like that's garbage, and just leave. But sometimes you do find some gems. As I say, it is not many just straight comic book shops. The two in my area that I can get to, but still 40 minutes travel. It's no like nearby.
Jeez, that's rough. That's super
Yeah,
rough,
man.
dude.
It's for the love of it, man, ain't it?
Most definitely. Boogie, you had some updates on these variants that we've been getting. Definitely interested to hear about that.
Yeah, last week's episode we were talking about sales for Marvel. I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was like somewhere 412,000 for Spider-Man number 800 regular cover. So, I was doing a little more digging, and as a retailer, it made me think. I'm like, 412,000. They're saying they sold. So that must mean retailers are banking, bro. Like they must be making crazy cake if Marvel is selling that many books. But the reality of the situation is that ain't true at all. So looking further into it, the numbers are actually reported by the distribution companies. So that 412,000 copies that was sold was Diamond Distribution selling that 412,000 copies. So that went out to different retailers. But that doesn't mean that the retailers are selling that many copies.
Damn.
That means the retailers are sitting on that many copies because they had to order so much to get that one for 50, that one for 100, the one for 1,000. You understand? So the prices that you're seeing, like, I'm not lying. Anybody could back me up. You can open up Instagram, you can open up eBay or any of these Facebook auctions, and you'll see some of these Spider-Man 800 books going for $10, $12, $13, right? The truth is, when you walk into a comic shop in the next couple of months, you're going to find a lot of those cover A's in the dollar bin, in a discount bin. Okay, and the only ones that are really going to hold some value are the one for 50s and the one for 100. And when you really think about it, the only reason that they're holding any value is because the distributor itself, the company, is forcing it to have some sort of value to hold. Because there's no way, anybody could vouch. If I paid $20 for a book and I decide a month down the road, I don't really want this book anymore. I want to upgrade, or I want to get a different book. I'm going to sell it. You're not going to let that go for less than what you paid for it. It's not logical. You understand what I'm saying? So us as consumers, we're being cornholed, and we're being pushed into a corner to buy these books. And the dumb fucks that we are, we're going to keep buying them. It is what it is. Like, I could say right now, you know what? I'm not buying any more variants. And that would be a damn lie.
We all say that, man. We all say that. We're all like, no more variants. And then 2 days later, like, check out these variants I got.
Right. And it's disgusting when you think about it. But what's even more disgusting is that we're kind of being bamboozled in a situation, because it's not even the company. It's not Marvel reporting the numbers. It's not DC reporting the numbers. It's the distribution companies that are giving these reports out. And I mean, it's sick to think that all those books that people are going crazy over really aren't worth two pisses in the wind.
No, they're not, man.
Right, exactly.
I mean, one trend that I see some shops doing, I know Boogie and I were talking about the 1 in 500 Mike Zeck Punisher #1 cover. It's like black and white.
So pretty.
What some retailers do, they'll say, okay, if you want this variant, this 1 in 500, then you'll talk to them and you'll work out a deal where you'll pay for whatever amount of comics on top of the variant that you want to order. So that way, you know, the shops themselves aren't losing that money on all those books. And remember, the same thing happened with those lenticular covers as well, which are such a ripoff. A lot of shops straight up said we're not doing it. This is horseshit. We're not going to carry them. And now you can find a lot of them, like Boogie said, just in like these regular bins.
Right. Some of those lenticular variants were really nice though too.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, I'm not going to mention any names because that's not my style, but we were just in a comic shop the other day, and I inquired about that Mike Zeck variant for Punisher. And the shop owner told me that, oh yeah, we're getting one of them, but it's already sold. He's buying all of the covers. And that's the new thing now. And even a lot of online stores are doing the same thing. You want the Virgin cover, you have to buy it as a set. Because these stores don't want to be sitting on all of these books anymore. You know? So now instead of paying $30 just for the Virgin, now I got to pay $60 because I got to buy the 15 fucking covers that came with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. It's getting crazy, and I'm not a business owner, but if I was thinking, if I have a product like Marvel has comics, if I want to make the most money that I can make, because that's the thing is Marvel and Diamond, they don't see any money from the secondary market being like Boogie, you have a store. You sell the book to me, and I turn around, I flip it to Jay over in Scotland. Marvel, you, and Diamond don't see a penny of that. So I don't, and I understand them wanting maybe to make something special or whatever. I don't know, but it's just like, why not just print all the variants? Don't make them 1 in 500. Just give them, because then people want them. You up the price a little bit, but then you mass produce them. Everybody's going to want one. I'm not going to not want a cover because J. Oh, I'm sitting here with the 3 J's. I just noticed this. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand, because it's not like, well, Jay has a cover and Jay has a cover and Jay has a cover. I don't want one. They all have one. It's like, no, I still want one. You know?
Right.
So it's just stupid to me. And like, yeah, the variants are getting like, I swore off variants for a little while. I still don't have the Jock, the Action Comics 1000 variant. The monochrome one where it's just Jock or just Superman on the cover, you know, ripping over a shirt. And then I wasn't going to get any for Batman 50, but then Jock, the Forbidden Planet, came out with that really pretty Batman one. So I had Jay, you know, because he's like, oh yeah, they got them here. It's you know, I don't know the exchange rate, but we'll just say it was like, it's $20 Canadian to get just the regular cover. I'm like, oh okay. But then he's like, but it's only $25 to get the signed one. I'm like, wow. Then
got him.
Yeah, exactly. You see the distributors just going like a fish around, just zzz, like, oh, got him, got it. Come on,
bend over and spread them, bro.
And I don't mind spending more on variants. Like, and I love what DC is doing now, where it's like they got the main cover and the one variant, and I don't mind it, but I just don't understand it from a business standpoint. Because if I built cars, I wouldn't want, I'm going to build one car and you got to spend $40,000 on it, and everybody else gets the $2,000 car. No, right. I'll make them all the same price, and that way everybody gets them, and I get more money at the end of the day, because I'm not going to get that secondary market value of purchaser A selling it to purchaser B.
Right.
Definitely. He's not going to see any of that change. Like,
yeah, and like you said with the Marvel variants, some of them are really nice. Most of them are really ugly. Most of them should have never been made.
100%, man.
I don't know what happened. They were trying to do what DC did. You know,
I just think theirs. Sorry, go ahead, Jay. I just think that it's so many. You know, I mean, we don't know like the deadlines that people are in or anything just to get out these variants all the time. And for me, like that Zeck Punisher one would be one that I want to own. You know what I mean? Like I want to get it 100%. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, do I really want to fork out the cash to own these books? You know, part of me is like, yeah, and then I look at my wife and she's like, think about it, and I'm like, okay, and then maybe I'll press the button. But it has to be one of those things where if I'm ready to dish out this amount of money for something modern, you know what I mean?
Right. And that's the crazy thing about it too. Like a lot of these modern books are worth more than the old shit. and it
Yeah, man.
blows my mind, dude. But I mean, when you look at the bigger picture of things, like it's the distribution company that's really making out because they don't give a shit if you're sitting on 2,000 books of the regular cover, and that's why Marvel's putting out so many different covers. Because as a retailer, when I'm on the website and I'm ordering stuff, right, it'll say, let's say 1 for 50, but it'll say any combination of covers A through G. So, you know, you could order like, you know, whatever, 5 of each, 10 of each, you know what I'm saying? And gather up and accumulate that number to make 500 copies to get that one book. So us as the retailer, we're losing out. The distributor is killing it. You know, Marvel's killing it because they're pumping out these books, right? And the only person that's really hurting is the retailer.
Let me just say this. I'm reading the comments here. Harsh at Flip Page Comics said, "Yep, keep being greedy. These variants, they're going to cause, I guess, another 90s crash." What do you guys think about that?
It's a good point.
It's totally going to happen. It's totally they're gonna force the guys. Like the guys in the group know I'm a huge Wolverine fan, and I forget. I think it was maybe Karate Kevin in our chapter put up that Gabriel Delato cover. It's an awesome Gabriel Delato cover for the Return Wolverine 1. I heard it's going to be like $200.
Yeah,
like I'm not dropping $200 on a modern book. It's going to be like a 1 in whatever variant. It's like, no, I'll get the maybe in a couple years or something. Maybe if it's signed or slabbed or whatever. But it's just like I can't afford $200 for a single book in my weekly pulls. Like it's just getting crazy, and I'll get I'm gonna get a few of the McNiven covers, not the whole. Like he's got like 8 different covers. He's got it's all the same background, but he's got like Patch, Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, Normal Wolverine, Tan Wolverine, Original Wolverine, Weapon X.
There's like 20 of them, I think, right?
Well, there's 9 of his. 1 Lionel Francis Yu, 1 Todd Knock cover where Wolverine's using his new Easy Bake Oven claws.
Right.
What looks really stupid. I'm gonna get like 3 or 4 of the covers. I might get the whole set if I can find it at a good price. You know, why not? But yeah, like I don't know what's gonna happen but maybe not because you know what, the people like us and the other suckers who are just shelling with the money for these variants to either flip them to other suckers or who just want to buy them. We're keeping the machine going,
right?
And they'll stay on as long as they can.
But when's too much though? As you're saying, like this one that's 200, we can't afford 200 every week just for one book. So it's got to get to a point where too much is too much.
And just people.
Yeah, but when is that point? When is that point? And you know what sucks even more about those variants, like the different versions of the Wolverine, those aren't even qualifier variants. They're not like 1 for 100s, but for a retailer, they're meet or exceed variants. And what that means is if last week I ordered 10 copies of 1 book, that means this following week to be able to order those books, I have to order 20. So now here I am with 20 books that don't even sell to begin with.
Well, exactly, man.
I didn't even order those this week because it just wasn't in the universe. It was not properly aligned for me to get these books, dude. And it pisses me off because now I got to go somewhere else and get them because I am going to buy them.
Most definitely.
I am going to buy them.
Most definitely. I mean, like I tell people all the time, try to stick to what you like, right? I mean, if you can find a good variant at a good price, go for it. Like for me, I will buy any Jack Kirby variant. Any Kevin Eastman variant, just because they're artists that I do enjoy their art. So that's what I'll usually end up doing. But even some of those covers, depending, like you see a lot of the retail shops just giving them such a high markup for some variant covers, and then just putting it on their wall books. And then you have some shops that don't. They just sell them for regular price. But I feel like this guy just said, when's enough, and people are just not gonna dish out the cash for these books no more,
Right. And I personally think you're a scumbag. If it didn't cost you more than what you regularly pay for a book, then you should not be marking that book up fucking $10, $15. Like, you're not helping the cause, dude.
No, definitely not.
Look at DC, all those metal tie-ins, the Drown, and all those people. I got all the lenticulars and stuff, all those nice covers by Jason Fabek. I got them all when they came out at cover price. Not a month later or 2 months later, you look everywhere, they're $25, $30, and people are just shelling with the money. I'm just like,
oh, definitely,
why?
man.
Wait another 6 months and they're going to come down again. Like,
Come down, exactly.
Hey, Boogie, does Diamond have any like rules when it comes to like how you mark up your books? Like, do you have to wait a certain period of time, or can you just mark it up as soon as they come to the shop?
No. The only thing that they ask is that I don't sell books before Wednesday, and I can mark up books as much as I wanted to. Like if I got a $3.99 book, if I want to make it $100, I could do that. They don't give a rat's ass about that as long as they got their money, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want, because which is actually something I pay extra for. Okay, that's another thing that they bang me for, is for early delivery, to ensure that my books get there a day before New Comic Book Day. It's extra money on top of my invoice. Okay, because otherwise, you know, there's no guarantee I'll get my books by New Comic Book Day.
And that's what happens when you have a monopoly on the business.
That's the thing, dude. They don't give a rat's ass.
Game in town.
They don't give a rat's ass. Now, you could go directly to publishers. The only two publishers that you can't go directly to is Marvel and DC. They're strictly business with Diamond. But I can go to Zenscope. I can go to IDW, you know, Dark Horse, whatever. But the problem, or Image. But the problem with that is they want too much of a minimum to order from. See, I can go to Diamond. I can order one book, no problem. But if I go to IDW and let's say I want Ghostbusters, I have to order at least 20 if I'm going to order from them.
Ooh,
so that's why people go to Diamond, you know. And there's nothing you can do about it, being that they're the only game in town. Absolutely nothing. But what got me is they're scheming in a way, giving a little bit of a trade secret away now, right? So if I order 5 books of, let's say, any title, those 5 books come to the shop. They're all damaged. Okay? I immediately go on the site and I'll try to order another 5. But on the website, it says back ordered, not stocked. Well, funny thing about that is, if I report those damages and I say my 5 books were damaged, somehow in 2 weeks, I get 5 new copies. So that leads me to believe you're taking a certain percentage of those books, you're putting them to the side, stacking them away for a rainy day, for damages, for missing, you know, shit like that. Well, what happens to the rest of the books that don't go out for damages and for missing claims? What happens?
They flip them on Instagram.
They end up getting discounted even more on their website. They have this thing called liquidation sales. You go on there and you'll find them for like 25 cents, 80 cents. You know, it's absolutely absurd, man. This is a shiesty game we're in. It really is.
Oh man. Well, let me just ask before we move on. J2K. I mean, variants in America are super expensive. How hard are they to get in your neck of the woods? And are they even more expensive when you do find them?
Well, we've got a really good shop that's red hot. The guy we can order stuff for, and I think he just does it like how Boogie does it. He'll just order it online. So he'll give us it exactly the price, which is not so bad. But if you miss a variant and you go to a con and try and get it, some of the prices there are just mind-blowing. But again, it's because they know they can get away with it. And as you were saying earlier on, is if no many people are buying for these booths, they need to keep their money up. So haggling with them's terrible. Yeah, I've seen some like don't know if you remember the movie variants that we got for DC with the mask and all that.
Yes,
I was seeing some of them at cons for like £30 to £50, man, and I'm like, man, that book's not worth £30 to £50, man. It's just a variant, yeah, and it's it wasn't that hard to get. Like I could phone someone up from America and get it a lot cheaper.
with shipping.
But aye, exactly, with shipping. Look, I could fly over and come back and get it cheaper than they're charging.
Oh man, great stuff, guys.
Hey, I got a question. How much is it to ship to Scotland, Jay?
Well, Dollar Bin Bandit sent obviously pins, the pins that we all got, the cool pins with the spawn stickers. He sent that to Connor for me and him, and he said to ship it to you guys was $4. To us it was 17 just for that. So
$17.
the bigger the package. I sent one comic to Chad, and that was $4.99 for standard shipping. So that's like 17... just your standard, like.
And the slab I sent you was $40 Canadian.
Damn.
Oof.
But it was a signed Batman 608, so I had to do some boogie packing on that one to make sure. You could drop that bitch in the ocean, have a shark take it, and still be good.
Fucking A, man. That's crazy though that it's cheaper to ship to Scotland from America than it is to Canada.
Well, you know the worst thing is you know what it is this you'll catch them too now, and I'll call them out too when I'm dealing with them on eBay. Like I bought a book and it came in a bubble mailer, and I look in the bubble mailer, it says $5. I was like, oh, okay. I go back, shipping was $17. So I messaged him like, why am I getting charged $12 more than what you paid for this? Oh well, you know it's and it was a business. And they're like, oh, well, you know, there's gas and there's time to do it. And I'm like, well, you're a business. You were going to the mail, you're going to the post office anyways. Don't make it like my one book was a one-off. I see these books, like there's this one person or one business in Houston. I'll look at these books. It's $72 Canadian for shipping. I'm like, are you flying this to me on a G5? Like, fuck. Like, are you personally hand delivering this thing to me in a Rolls Royce? Like, why am I spending $70 on shipping? And they never get back to you. They never respond because they know whatever stupid answer they have is going to make them look even dumber. And import charges. It makes no sense. Like, the more you spend, oh, okay, well, the import charge is $20. Like, eBay rips a lot of people off too. And it's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, that is nuts, man. $70? Sucks. That's crazy. Even if they dropped it off in a Rolls Royce, I don't think it would be that much money. That's fucking nuts. That's another thing. We should do a show. I think maybe next week we'll do a show on packaging.
Oh God, no.
Because there's a lot of guys out there. They don't know how to pack for shit, and B, people are always upcharging. Like, all right, it costs you $6 to ship it, but you're charging me $10. Oh, well, there's shipping material and blah, blah, blah. Yo, there's a big bowl of dicks waiting for you. It's right here. Okay?
You know what I think too, Jay? Well, Boogie, because there's another Jay here. I think what would be awesome is if you make a YouTube tutorial video, we could post on the page so that way,
that'd be good, yeah.
To see it all the time. Because a lot of times, man, people just think, okay, let me just put it in this mailer and then send it out, but it doesn't get to you in the condition you expect it to. Especially like if you're gonna send your books to CGC, I think it's super important to know how to package your books in a safe manner. You know what I mean? So you can get the grade, a better grade. Most definitely, I think we definitely should do that. Post, maybe do it at your shop or something, so that way we could post to the channel and people could come view and see how you package your books and you send them out to people. That'll be awesome.
Right, yeah. Boogie's tutorial video shipping. Here's an AF-15. Shove it right in there. It's on its way.
Oh, man.
This week on Grab My Package with Boogie.
Right. Oh, I like that.
Oh, my goodness.
I hope you didn't trademark that because I'm stealing it.
And then what we'll do is, we'll go live to Mike delivering the package and him forcing it to a mail slot that's too small.
Throwing it a place.
Just drop kick it into the mailbox.
Throwing it over a fence or something.
Yeah.
Man. today we had some awesome news that we were able to share on the Instagram page at Comic Book Fiend Club and Instagram. I'm gonna throw it over to Jay over here, J2K, and we're gonna start talking about our expansion. I guess would be the right word to say. So Jay, I'm gonna throw it to you, brother. Take it away.
Finally, obviously, as you know, we knew about it and we've all been working on it a while. Is we finally got to open up 2 more chapters, and the one that I'll be in with CCTV, also known as Connor, and Capes and Collectibles, also known as Scott, we'll be heading up the international chapter. So for all the guys out there that maybe don't live in America or Canada, we get it all the time. Every time we enroll, folk asking, are you doing it overseas? Well, now we finally have our own chapter overseas where you guys can apply. We will get into the rules, I believe, later on in this video. So if you just keep watching, we'll talk more about it. But finally, international, we're taking over worldwide, finally.
That's amazing news, brother. I'm going to throw it over to Chad. Chad, some news on the Canadian chapter.
Yeah, baby. Same thing. Canada's getting its own chapter now. Currently, we got 3 members. 2 were former East chapter members. 1 was a West Coast. West Coast member was Cabby's Eyes or Braden. There was myself, and then there was also Jay Chawla or John from the East. We are the Canadian chapter so far, and we were getting a lot. You know, I remember back in even April, we had, I think, our president, Steve, was saying, I think we had 40-plus applicants for our chapter from Canadians. I know the West said they had probably just as many, if not more. So, yeah, it's really exciting now that we have our own chapter, you know, be able to build the brand and for, you know, make the club bigger and better.
Sounds good, bro. Yeah. Well, as you know, we've been posting it all day on the Instagram page. People have been reposting it. Open enrollment will begin October 1st, and it will last for about the whole month. Boogie, I just wanted to get your thoughts on open enrollment, maybe speak on it a little bit so, you know, anyone watching or that's going to be hearing this later could understand and what open enrollment actually is, the process. Yeah.
This shit right here, it's a gang and you're getting jumped in. Nah. Yeah, open enrollment. Right. Open enrollment is fun, man. I mean, it brings a lot of new faces, a lot of new personalities, and you know, we get to come across a lot of new people. This enrollment is this October. That's when it begins. You basically need to find out what region you're going to be in. If you're going to be in the East chapter, the West chapter, Midwest, South, Canada, or international. Once you figure that out, which is fairly simple, all you got to do is hit up either any one of the members, or you can do even better by going to @Comic Book Fiend Club on Instagram. Send us a DM. Tell us where you're from. We'll let you know who to reach out to. You'll reach out to one of the presidents. They're gonna give you an enrollment package, which is basically like a questionnaire, and you're gonna fill it out. It's gonna get reviewed, and if you make it past that first level, that's when the fun begins. You know.
Welcome to Thunderdome.
Yeah, a couple of helpful hints for you. No private pages. Okay, if you have a private page, you're not even going to be considered, okay? Because we need to be able to see what's going on in your world, just like you're able to see what's going on in our world. If you're a selling page, you know, we don't discriminate against sellers on Instagram or, you know, whatever platform you use to sell your books. You know, you got a business, you got a business. But in order to be a part of this club, you're going to need a personal page. All right, we don't want your business intertwined with the family. Okay, you know, your personal business is your personal business, and that's just the way we like to keep it. If your page isn't private and it's not a seller page and you apply, we want to see who you are. Okay, so make sure you got personal posts on there. You know, pictures of you and your family. You know, like. A lot of people get the idea misconstrued and they think like, you know, Comic Book Fiend Club, all they do is, you know, go to cons and, you know, talk comics and blah. Nah, dude, like this shit is a family, bro. You know, like it doesn't get any realer than that. All right. We are brothers. We are sisters. We are one big, giant, dysfunctional fucking family.
Right.
Hands down. Hands
Right.
down.
And,
So,
Yeah, definitely.
just to piggyback on that too, I mean, we want to make sure that anyone that's going to join our family is drama free. I mean, you could have a great collection but still be a shit person. So we want to
Yeah.
make
Right.
sure that you're actually going to bring positivity to this thing and to our community, right? Because we want to make sure that anyone that's a part of our family is going to be in good standing with anyone else. So, you know, just make sure that you always follow through on any deals you may have, any sales when you purchase something. Make sure that you are the best advice I could give. My first attempt at joining the club, I failed. I fell through. I wasn't able to get in, and I'm pretty sure it's because of Boogie, but he's not going to tell me that. But my second time, I was fortunate enough to join this crazy family of ours, and then you actually see all the work that we put in to make this thing something special, and that's what is going to differentiate us from anybody else. So just make sure that you try the best to just follow people, interact with people. We don't bite, you know what I mean? We'll have conversations, dialogue, we'll goof around, just make sure that interaction is key. We want to get to know you. We don't want to know your collection. We want to get to know the person behind the collection, right? It's not about keys. It's just about a love for comics.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
also touching on that is obviously I've noticed and I've spoke to a lot of guys is artists and tattooists is we don't just want to know your collection, but we also do want to know your collection. Like if you've just posted drawings of Joker you're doing that's all good. We're not dissing your art or anything, but you do need to be collecting comics and we want to see what you're collecting. I've had a few guys message me and they'll send me comics in my PMs and that, like, see, check it, I've got this hiding away, and I'm like, yeah, but you've got to be doing that on the page as well. We want to see that on your page. If you're maybe doing art and you don't want to clutter that up with other comics, make a private page, as Boogie said earlier. Have a wee private page to the side of your business, to the side of your art, to the side of your tattoos that you post the comics on, so that we can see you and your comics, so that we know you're an avid collector. Doesn't have to be keys, doesn't even have to be weekly, just be collecting and be reading. And also, if you apply the now, it starts in October. Like you can apply and you can apply and you can apply and say, but I said in September about it, I said in August about it. We have got so many people applying. It's October. Please just apply in October. Get to know us now, that's cool. But put the enrollments in October. And also remember, there's a lot of you, so don't get antsy and send us 20 messages a day like, I sent you something yesterday and you've still not got round to me. We will get round to everyone. We do try and send the questionnaires out to everyone. It just takes time.
That's why it's about a month long, honestly, because we want to get through all those messages. Most definitely. Chad, you have anything to add, brother?
Yeah, a couple of quick things. One is, especially with the new 2 chapters, we don't have the international, and the Canadian chapter. Right now we don't have presidents, vice presidents. The national president, Aaron, or Merc with a beard, and Steve, the vice president, Steve, and other few members are helping those chapters get built up. So don't, like Jay said, don't just slam them with questionnaires and questions and every single day. Like, we will get to you. We will talk to you. Especially some members like me. My wife couldn't give a shit if she ever saw a comic again in her life. So I love talking comics. So I don't mind if you message me. But yeah, right now, be interactive though. That's the biggest thing, is show us that you're sociable, that you'll talk, and you don't have to private message every single member. But you feel free to make comments on posts and hashtag us. Even if you make a cool post that you think the guys in the club would like, tag us in it or tag a member in it. And if we like it, we'll repost it.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing is, and I was one of the lucky ones, I got in the very first time I applied, probably because they saw the essay that I wrote for all the questions in the questionnaire and all the tagging I was doing. They probably said, let's just let him in now because I can't put up with another 6 months of this.
Nah, it was your handsome cheeks, bro.
There you go. That's right. But no, I just want to say, just because anybody who happens to see this, if they've applied before, it is discouraging if you don't get in. I get that and I understand that, but you got to keep it going, because I don't know if anybody who was talking to me before April is still talking to me now, unless they're going to start again to try to get in.
Yeah.
You got to keep, like I said, you don't got to keep bugging me, but every couple weeks, hey, what's going on? Or throw up a post and tag us. And you got to keep us, because we want to know, and I don't want to sound egotistical here, but it's for the metaphor. We're the club. You're trying to join us. We're not trying to join you. So we need to see that you want to come and join us, because we want you here, but we want to see the commitment. So if you're just making one, you posted and you did one thing at the start of August, the start of September, and then there's nothing until October enrollment, your odds aren't going to be as good as somebody else who's like every week or every other week is tagging and chatting and interacting. So that's the biggest thing. And like Jay in J2K said, you don't have to have the best collection out there. You don't have to have all modern or all old school or golden age or silver age. Just be a collector. Show us that you like it, and we'll see it. I know you guys think, oh, nobody's looking or whatever, but each chapter has 10 or more people. The West chapter has all of California, but trust me, because like at Boogie, so there's 3 right now, although I'm Canada, but I'm still kind of an East guy. If Boogie sees a guy that he really likes in our group chat, he'll like, guys, go check this guy's name out. Here's his name on Instagram, and we'll all go check the guy out. So if you're a cool person and you're being nice and you're being kind of cool to talk about everything with, your name will get out there. But you got to stick with it, and you got to kind of show us that you want it, or else you'll get lost in the shuffle and you get caught behind the people who really do make an effort, to be in it. So
right, and that's a big thing. Yeah, that's a big thing, dude. Like, we get the applications, and they get brought into the group chat, and we're looking at them, and it goes, all right, here's Blase Blah. Who the hell is that? Never heard of him. Gone. Next. Here's Blase Blah. Who the hell is that? I don't know. Next. Then here's Blase Blah. Oh, dude, that guy's cool as fuck. Oh, and then somebody else chimes in. Yeah, dude, I talk to him all the time. He's awesome. Help me find a book. And that's the thing that I don't think people get either, is the fact that, like I stated before, we're family, dude. Like, it's not all just about comics. When our brother Chris was down and out and he was hurt, every chapter banded together, and we did everything that we could to help our brother out, because that's what we do.
Definitely.
And it's not just the club. We do a lot of charity work. We're helping kids. We got the comic books for the military. Like, that's why we vet you. That's why it takes a month long or sometimes longer to get you in the club, because we want to know we're not letting in a bag of shit that's going to tarnish our name. And people need to understand that. People need to be patient with that and understand that you're going to be representing something that's way bigger than yourself.
Definitely.
And this club is not getting any smaller, man. It's just growing, and it's going to keep growing. So
I don't know if we mentioned too as well, like no raffle pages. Again, we don't have anything against raffles. I mean, try to just make a personal page for yourself. Again, nothing against raffle pages, but in order to be part of the club, we want to make sure that you have a personal page where you can post all your stuff on, and for everyone to be seen.
Right.
Most definitely.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
don't quit.
As Boogie was saying, like, we do charities and stuff. We're not a business. We're in no way a company. It's all about family and just charity work and stuff. So we don't want to be affiliated with raffles or businesses or that, unless we're doing a raffle that's all about a charity. That's the only time you'll see us post raffles, is when it's about a charity, and we want to keep it that way. So if you guys can have private pages that you stay business on, and then have your own pages that are public that we can all go on, and as Boogie said, maybe have some family pictures, like stuff, so that we can get to know you as well as your collection, because that's got to mean a lot. And like Chad hit on, if you don't get in this time, don't disappear and pop back up in April. It's a good thing to think, right, I'll keep annoying these guys, man. I've still got all the way to April now. I'm going to bug them during December. I'm going to say Merry Christmas. I'm going to wish this guy a happy birthday. Annoy us, man. Like, we'll remember that. I know there's a few heads that never got in last time that were doing the same, and it puts you ahead of the race. And as Boogie said, we'll notice you as soon as you come up again. We'll be like, that guy applied like 4 times. I've been talking to him. He's sound. Let's give him a chance.
Right. He really wants us. Yeah. Most definitely. Show us you want it, and again, it'll show. We notice everything.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
We're always watching.
Sweet.
And don't get me wrong, I know I look like a douchebag, but I really am a douchebag. You can hit me up and I can
With a
show
soft
you.
center.
Oh, shit, that's so
Chewy
true.
nougat insides.
Hell yeah.
He's like a Tootsie Pop.
Oh man, so that'll be it for now as far as enrollment. We'll have more news on that coming in. We'll give you some advice coming up. We're gonna try to have the national president Aaron and the national VP on the show to talk more about the club, its history, what are we doing, where are we going, and things like that. I think that'll be an awesome episode down the line, most definitely. So for our last topic, man, it seems like every time the rumor dies down, somehow, some way, it comes back up of Tom Cruise playing Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern movie. I'm gonna throw it over to Chad. Get his thoughts. Chad, what do you think about this, man? It feels like every time we get away from this rumor, it's quiet, and then it seems to crawl back up, and the people start talking about it again.
Yeah, and I know J2K's feelings of him. At the end of the day, it's a business. Even DC, who tries to stick to the source material, and their movies, they're like the '80s. Back in the '80s, when like these comics just aren't for kids. At the end of the day, it's a business. So whether you love him or hate him, Tom Cruise at 56 still brings in millions and millions of dollars. Okay. Like I said, love or hate him, he's still so bankable. Very few actors. He has been a star since like '88. Think about that for a second. This guy has been a movie star for 30 years.
Because he's a psychopath.
I'm barely 30. I'm only 36. I'm just over 3 decades old. But this guy's been a movie star almost longer than I've been alive, probably. So, and in those. Maybe he's not a great actor in your opinion, but his movies are entertaining, so that's what they're going for. So I personally think he's too damn short and too damn old for the part.
Damn.
So far, he's just Hal Jordan. He's a fighter pilot. Like in the comics, Hal Jordan's like 6'4", 6'5". He's like 210. He's this giant, hulking, imposing figure that even when he's not the Green Lantern, you're not going to start a fight with him at the bar because now, like I said, what you think about him, but. The current script, from all the rumors and things I've read, say that they're going to kill off Hal Jordan in like the first third of the movie, and the ring goes to either Kyle Rayner or John Stewart because nobody wants Ginger Spice as a Green Lantern. But he's saying that I'm not going to do it unless we change the script and he survives, because he probably wants to be Maverick. In his Top Gun jet flying with the Green Lantern. But who knows? It's too hard to tell because some actors do well in certain genres of movies and some actors don't. Who knows? He could come do it and he could hit out of the park and he could turn, J2K into a fan. Or he could totally or the movie could totally suck like the last Green Lantern movie did. But I don't think at the end of the day, it's all about franchises these days. It's X-Men franchises, Marvel franchises, Avengers franchises, and if they're looking long term to do the Hal Jordan movie or the Green Lantern Corps movies, where they'll make they'll branch off to all the different characters. I don't see them paying the money and all the headache that goes along with Tom Cruise just to kill him and then have to recast the role. So it's just a rumor, probably because he has a good relationship with Warner Brothers when it comes to movies. I don't think there's any truth to it that he's going to be the role. Jay, over to you, buddy. Since you're such a fan,
I hope not. I hope not. Like, I don't think the guy has the charisma for it. Like, Hal Jordan has I like Hal Jordan. He's got that nice charisma about him. I don't think Tom Hardy has that. I don't like the guy's acting. I don't think he has a personality. I think he plays the same character all the bloody time, and it annoys the heck out of me. But I think DC's main problem is they go for A-list actors. Like you're saying, he can bring loads of money. And that's their problem. They're like, oh, this dude can bring money. They're not looking for the right guy for the role. They're looking for the guy that brings the money. And that can be a big, big problem. But as we touched on earlier before we started this up, was the old thing that happened many a moon ago when Nicholson was done as the Joker. They actually originally signed Robin Williams to do it, and it was all a ploy to get Nicholson to sign on the dotted line for less money than they actually wanted him to. So I'm hoping maybe that's where this rumours came from. Maybe they've thought, right, if we get Tom Cruise, say he's doing it, and post all these articles about it, maybe the other actor we've got on the phone phones up and goes, no, man, I want this, I'll do it for less. I'm hoping that's what happens. But again, I don't know who could do it. I want it to be a B-lister. I want someone to come out and just smash it out of the park. Like Chris Pratt was Chris Pratt before Guardians, you know what I mean? Like, he was an alright actor, but no one was all over him. And then he came out with Guardians, and everyone's suddenly like, Chris Pratt, man, the guy walks on water.
Boogeyman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I doubt that Tom Cruise is actually going to do it. If it is a ploy by Warner Brothers to get somebody else to do it, I mean, I applaud them for using the same trick twice. But you know, like J2K said, man, I'd like to see an unknown actor do it. You know, like somebody we haven't heard of yet. I mean, Ryan Reynolds was a pretty well-known actor, and it just wasn't his role, you know. And that's the thing. Like, you can't always get somebody that already has steam behind them to do everything. You know, there are certain roles that certain actors just cannot do. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I'm not a big Green Lantern fan anyway. I am gonna go see the movie, you know, once it comes out, just to talk shit to all the DC guys out there. But
yeah, because I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Chad, because I'm pretty much done on the topic. If Tom Cruise does get the role, I'm gonna go see it anyway. And the whole time in the movie theater, I'm gonna scream, "Talk to me, Goose."
No, I was just gonna say that, you know, because I'm a huge movie geek as well. I have way too much useless information in my head. But if you, like, for Wolverine, right? Hugh Jackman was barely on the radar. They wanted, if anybody's seen Mission Impossible 2, DeGray Scott, the bad guy from Mission Impossible, he was the front runner. And then he
didn't he sign for that though? Like,
he signed on for it. He signed on for it, and then but he had a movie obligation that ended up getting pushed, so he had to quit. Then they were looking at Russell Crowe, and Russell Crowe's like, "No, it's not really the part for me." But why don't you meet up with my buddy Hugh Jackman, who the only thing he had done it there is he was doing Oklahoma on Broadway, which is an older play.
Yeah.
And that's my jam.
He did like 5 or 6 readings before they finally said, "Okay, we'll go with this guy." And now all of us, you know, couldn't even picture who was going to take over Wolverine when they finally do. So yeah, I would like to see them say, like, okay, well, who can we take a chance on, or who's there, and maybe we can build them, because like look at what's his face? Who's Thor? Chris Hemsworth. He was horrible in the first Thor.
Yeah.
Like, the movie was okay, but him as an actor was horrible. There were reports that Anthony Hopkins was laughing at him and shit-talking him every day on set. Like, how did you get the role? Who did you pay off? Like, literally, that's what everybody was saying. They couldn't even believe they finished that movie. And now, you know, 5 or 6 years later, 7 years later, we're like, we don't want anybody else to play Thor.
No,
because
definitely.
it took him time to get better as an actor and to grow into the role.
Right.
So you can't, you know, and they did with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was in a few minor movies. Oh, you're Superman now. Oh, okay. And we love him now. Despite how bad Justice League was, we all love to see him as Superman. So I think they should just stick with their tried true formula of just get, like, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, same thing. Everybody hated her.
Definitely.
She's too skinny. She's this, she's that. Yeah, and now she's, like, awesome. So just stick to your guns.
She is too skinny, though.
Well, you know.
Of course.
Well, that's taking a second.
Of course. I mean, for me, I wasn't so crazy about the first film. I did enjoy Sinestro. I thought he was the best character in that movie. I thought the actor who played him did a great job. It was
Mark
really
Strong.
Yeah, he was great. As far as Tom Cruise, I just don't see it. I don't see him even planning to stick around for a few extra movies after that. For me, the person that I always wanted to play Green Lantern would be Nathan Fillion.
Definitely.
Just because he's very funny. charismatic. You know, and I definitely think he could play the role, especially if what Chad was saying was true. If it's going to be like more of a short-term role, which I hope not, man, because for me, Hal Jordan is such an essential member of the Justice League. You know, I would hate to see someone like that just killed off, so quick. And I think that if you find the right actor to play that role, it'll be really well done. I just don't think that for me, I always feel like the writing should match the person playing the role, right? So I think, you know, that's where Ryan Reynolds failed as a Green Lantern. It really wasn't him, you know, from the onset. Now you have something like Deadpool where he was perfect for it because he was very passionate about it to begin with, you know, especially
for 10 years, yeah.
Right, especially with the leaked footage that someone leaked, which happened to be him, of the test footage or whatever. Most definitely. It's just one of those things, yeah.
That's because he's a clown and Deadpool. You know?
He plays that character perfect. But as you were saying about Philly, and like I've said that for the get-go, I mean, the guy did voice him in the animated and that, so we know he can do it. But it'd be a good idea if they are going to kill him off, because he is a bit older. Like, he's probably not in his prime anymore. So if it was a short role, he's the man for it. Like, definitely.
Right. Yeah. Right. They should get Denzel Washington to do it. He's awesome in anything.
Yeah, true. He's the next Samuel Jackson now for DC.
Oh man. So, do we have any questions out here? Andrew had a question. Would we have Deadpool if Green Lantern hadn't flopped so bad? My answer would be yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it was coming. Like, it was bound to come, man. Like, and all his hype, and then the way everyone freaked out about obviously that thing called Deadpool that happened. You knew it was going to come.
Yeah, it was going to come. But if Ryan Reynolds was in Green Lantern and it did great and did astronomical numbers, I'm pretty sure he would have signed on for a sequel, and that would
have been rebooted by now.
Right? Yeah, but I mean that would have meant like he would have been bound by contract. He might not have been able to do Deadpool. You know, but who knows, man? Who knows? That's why he went back in time and killed himself.
Well,
yeah, no, I don't think we would have got him as Deadpool if that movie would have took off and made like $400 million at the box office and was a good movie instead of the dumpster fire that it was. Yeah, I don't think we would have got him. I think he was so, you know, I think he realized maybe his acting style and how he is, because if you look at the movies, he's the same guy too. He's the same.
Always.
Hannibal King in Blade Trinity is Wade Wilson.
Right.
Van Wilder is Wade Wilson.
Right.
So I think he actually, once that movie flopped, he was like, well, I still want to do this genre. I still like it. And then he kind of came upon, someone said, hey, dude, this is the character you should play. It's in development right now, or it's in development hell. It's just sitting there at Marvel or wherever it was at Fox. You know, check it out. And he's like, oh, shit. And he, you know, oh, wow, I could do this guy. He probably read a few books, and I love it. And then it took him 10 years to get it made, you know? So I guess we'll see, man. I hope it's good.
It fits it. It does fit it, like, because, as you say, he plays that character all the time. The only time he never played that character was in that terrible film, The Voices, or whatever it was called. It's fucking horrible, man.
Yeah, here's a good question, though. If Ryan Reynolds didn't get the role of Deadpool, who would have made a good Deadpool?
Oh,
Tom Cruise.
Jay's like Sean Connery, bring him out.
Right.
It's hard because
James Cosmos.
I think that's how in real life. I think that's how Ryan Reynolds is. Like, no, obviously not those kind of jokes. I doubt he's telling those kind of jokes, but like the mannerisms and how he talks and the smart assness. I think that's how he is. Other actors might have been a good job at acting like they're like that, but it would have been hard, you know.
Yeah.
Man,
Dane Cook.
Get the fuck out of here.
Johnny
What?
Depp.
No, nobody likes Dane Cook.
Nah, man.
No.
way.
Yeah, it would have been hard though, because you would have needed an actor who maybe wasn't born to play that role, but was passionate about it, like Ryan was, to keep it going and get it developed. And then, maybe they would have been good. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
That's like someone saying, who else would play
Andrew-
Wolverine? Like nobody.
Andrew said Ben Affleck.
Andrew, leave the video, please.
Steve Carell.
Oh, Jesus. Steve
Oh
Carell
my
can play
God.
Gwenpool.
That's so bad.
There you go. There you
So
go.
bad. So does anybody have anything coming up this month, next month, as far as conventions or expos or anything like that?
Fan
Glasgow
Expo.
Con.
I'm sorry.
We've
No,
got
Jay, you
3
go
years. International guys, we'll be hitting up Glasgow Con on the 23rd and 24th of September, or 22nd, 23rd, I'm not quite sure. Either way, it's a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, end of September. All the international guys will be there. On the Saturday, it will just be me and Connor, so if you see us wear vests, come and hit us up. And then on the Sunday, it will be the dream team. All 3 years will be there. We'll be handing out stickers, pins, the usual, and talking about enrollment coming up the next again month.
Nice. They'll definitely be handing out stickers, kissing babies.
As always.
Drinking whiskey.
We're gonna definitely have some footage as well of their trip uploaded to the channel. I think it would be awesome to get some footage from an international convention. So as soon as we post that, you guys just make sure you turn on your post notifications so you can see it in our feed. As far as us East Coast folks, and we'll be heading to Baltimore Comic-Con the end of September, the 27th, 28th, 29th. Do I got that? Is that right?
Yeah. Last week in September, yeah.
Last week in September. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have about 5-6 of us there. We'll be handing out stickers, kissing babies, shaking hands. And then the following week, I'll be going to New York Comic Con on Sunday, which also happens to be my anniversary. So good times there. Chad, what do you got coming up, brother?
I got Fan Expo coming up in just under 2 weeks. I think it's like 13 days away. I think it's August 31st to September 3rd. I'll be there on the Thursday and the Saturday. I'll have buttons. I'll have stickers. I'll be wearing my cut, so you can, find my vest. But, luckily I'm a big tall guy. It's not hard to find me. If you want, if you want to come and carry my books for me while we get signatures, that'll give you maybe. I'll put your resume at the top of the pile when it comes to enrollment. Just saying.
There you go.
But yeah, I know coming. If you see us, like I'm 6'4", 300. It's a giant, biker vest with a giant crimson bat on the back. So feel free to come and chat me up.
Give him a hug too. He loves hugs.
Yeah. A lot of great artists this year. Like I said, they got some real fire artists this year. And then, like Jay says, we're going to be at Baltimore at the end of September. So good month. Con season starts getting it going again.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Sorry, Jay.
What? I don't count?
No.
What the fuck? So I'll probably be at Baltimore. I'm working on it. It's not promised, but if you see my ugly mug, you can say what's up. But if you're in the New Jersey area, September 9th is the Clifton Comic Book Expo. All right. It's at the Clifton Community Recreation Center, 1232 Main Avenue, Clifton, New Jersey. So if you're in New Jersey, come check your boy out. Jedi will probably be with me as usual. We're like the dynamic duo, twins.
Drag Alvaro's ass out there.
He's Schwarzenegger and I'm DeVito. Yeah, man, I'll have stickers, I'll have pins. Don't try to hug me. I'm not a huggable person, but I will give you a high five.
Most definitely. So before we sign off, we just got our first show up. It's a pilot show. We have it up on Podbean right now. You go to Podbean, type in Comic Book Fiend Club. It'll take you right to the link. We'll also be posting the link in the comments so you guys can go right to it and download the first episode. It's a pilot episode. We're working on getting some awesome intro music, working on the audio. It's going to be a lot better. Again, this is always a work in progress. On top of that, we are planning also to have different shows with different members, basically theme shows, things like that. So we could discuss a wide range of different topics, go more in depth into different topics as well. And then again, I urge everybody to just keep an eye on the club Instagram page. It's at Comic Book Fiend Club. You go there, you follow us, you'll see the link directly links you to the YouTube channel as well. So we're not too hard to find. We're out there. And I think that's
I
it.
think every member's got the link in their bio.
Good.
So whether you're on the Comic Book Fiend Club page, you go on my page, the Boogeyman 718. Link is in the bio. Click it, subscribe, like the videos. All right, it's real easy to download that app too. Okay, if you got an Android phone, Google Play Store, just search Podbeam. Podbeam, Pod Beam, BEAM. It's simple. I just spelled it for you. So if you have a problem, I don't know what to tell you.
Right, and the Podbean address is actually the Comic Book Fiend Club presents the FiendCast. So if you type that up there, it'll bring you right to our direct page, which we're working on. You can download the episode or use the Podbean app on the Google Play and Apple iTunes. Apple App Store has it as well. Currently, we're working on getting verified on iTunes for the podcast app. Hopefully that comes through this week, but as soon as it goes through, we'll put a post on the IG page and you can go right to iTunes and find us on the podcast app. So if anybody else has anything to say, I want to give a shout out to J2K for being on the show. I think right now it's like 1:30, 2:30 in the morning.
2:30 in the morning, man. Yeah, it's pretty tiring, man. I've got work tomorrow, so this is going to be fun.
Awesome. We want to thank you so much, brother, for being with us. You guys are doing big things
Thanks
over there.
Me on.
We're supporting you all the way. And again, any updates, please come back onto the show. We want to talk some more, and get things going. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I want to thank you guys for showing up, for supporting the podcast, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Peace.
Later.
See you later.